Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. We're here with another multiplayer battle, this time from Hadriz. He's going to be taking the Greenskins against the Vampire Coast. Potentially a tough matchup for the boys, so let's get to it. Azag leading the way up in the air here. We've also got a Night Goblin Shaman on foot, a nice wide front line of Savage Orcs, Orc Boys. We've got a couple of Black Orcs as well, Night Goblin Archers, and some Savage Orc Air Boys, Rusty Airs mixed in here as well. Looks like we've got some Vanguard deployed, 8 Peak Loonies up front. The Unbreakable will certainly be helpful here, as well as 2 Spider Riders. For the rest of the army here, we've got Morn Ghouls. Let's see here. Night Terrors do still have terror. And looks like we've got Lamprey's Revenge as well. Front line of zombies, second line of zombie pistols. We do have a single handgun here as well, maybe a couple of extra handguns, yep. And another unit of Morn Ghouls out there. Nocti Boy up on the Necrofex. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Greenskins just going to be advancing across the field here, obviously. You can see the 8 Peak Loonies start to come into range a little bit. They're going to take some nasty fire, but they do have a missile block chance, of course. And, you know, being an unbreakable regiment of renown, they're not too worried about the leadership. Looks like the loons have been unleashed here. Let's see if they're able to get solid contact here. Oh, it's going to be close. Looks like they do make it into the guns there, just barely, doing a little bit of damage. Not a whole lot, but it's something. Meanwhile, over the rest of the front line here, you can see Azag is taking up a position kind of out on the flank here. He's got the Spider Riders holding the Morn Ghouls sort of away from the infantry fight. Savage Orcs are just about in here. Savage Orcs, unfortunately, do not have a missile block chance, and with 0 armor, they will take a lot of damage from these pistols on the approach here. Looks like Noctilus also going to be unleashing his bombardment. Zombies stopping them up, so... yeah, Greenskins do pop all across the field, so this huge timing push, lots of speed and extra melee attack and everything as these units start to get in here. The extra charge bonus will help out, speed and everything. And yeah, these Savage Orcs are just going to be absolutely mowing through these zombie pistols, no problem here. Lamprey's Revenge are going to come forward and try and support in the front line. You can see a lot of the arrows are focused on the zombies right now. Looks like not really focusing on Noctilus too much, but the boys that initially came in had got routed off. Savage Boys not doing super well either. In the center, and then again out on the flanks, you've got the boys and the Black Orcs just absolutely mowing things down. And man, this game is so cool. Looks just amazing. Pistols advancing here. They're going to be shooting into the bows a little bit. You can see this unit of gunner mobs here is just about done for. Noctilus is going to be able to summon up more of the pistol mobs. But yeah, it's going to be tough. You can see Lamprey's Revenge over here duking it out now with the Black Orcs. Despite how things went initially, the Black Orcs actually will be able to hold out, especially with the bow support from the Savage Orc Air Boys. You can see they've actually taken down a unit model of these Lamprey's Revenge already. The Lamprey's Revenge are not really winning this fight. Without the support here, the fact that they're getting just circle beaten by these Black Orcs, like for example, these 2 lads back here are not subject to this crab's melee defense because they're hitting it from the back or a side angle. Think of it kind of like a 180-degree cone in the front, so like these models that are in the back here are getting free attacks more or less. They still have to roll to hit. They're not subject to melee defense. So a low model count unit like the gunnery mob Prometheans, that I want to say they only have, what, 9 unit models? They are very vulnerable to getting surrounded by a heavy AP unit like that. You can see Spider Riders getting into the back line here, getting on those zombie handguns. They are one of the few dangers to the Black Orcs. The other unit of Black Orcs still almost completely healthy here, basically untouched. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of an issue. Noctilus starting to take some bow fire as well. You can see the Rusty Airs coming in here, taking him down to only 45 armor as the Black Orcs and other units push through. So what initially had been a nice push through the center of the Greenskins formation kind of ran out of steam a little bit as a lot of those vampire units did crumble away. That being said, over on this side, got Savage Orcs routing off. Looks like a handgun unit is able to stabilize here, so maybe the coast could potentially claw their way back that way. Lamprey's Revenge gonna now support with Noctilus. Between the 2 of them, they might be able to take on these Black Orcs, but a nice Vindictive Glare there just blasted out one of those Lamprey's Revenge. Yeah, you can see these Black Orcs are not in the best situation, but at the same time, the Lamprey's Revenge as well still just taking a lot of damage. That heavy 50 weapon strength from those Black Orcs. It's just so much to deal with. And Noctilus is probably honestly doing a little bit of friendly fire as well, not to mention just getting showered by all the Daka here. And looks like we did have a summon, but in my opinion it would have been better off to summon on top of the Black Orcs, just to give the Lamprey's Revenge some extra, you know, meat bags to soak hits for them. But at this point, Noctilus is taking a ton of damage here. Azag comes down to a Spirit Leech, and a couple of chunks taken out by Skull Muncher there. And it does look like Noctilus is healing himself back up with Invocation there, trying to keep himself alive. But it's going to be tough. Out on the flanks here, these handguns, you know, using their AP to go after the Savage Orcs is probably not the best. They're a little bit out of position now as well. Needed to come back and use those against the Black Orcs here. But just starting to run out of steam, and it looks like those Night Terrors might have gone on a little bit of a wild goose chase as well. They needed to stay a little bit tighter. Also, their armor piercing could have dealt with these Black Orcs a lot sooner. But yeah, you can see the Lamprey's Revenge are completely gone at this point. And the Night Terrors will be getting in here and getting some damage done. But with Noctilus being as low as he is, it's going to be very tough for the Coast to come back. Azak does eat a pretty nasty volley there from those zombie handguns. You can see Noctilus retreating back that way, trying to heal himself back up some more. Another Invocation from the Heck there. In the center, with the return of the Mournguls here, things have been broken up a little bit. A lot of big terror routes going on. But Azag has been in melee enough to get a second Wah going. So we're going to see another big timing push here as a lot of these units fight tooth and nail. And the biggest thing is this unit of Black Orcs is still pretty much completely healthy. This other unit of Black Orcs, while they have taken a lot of damage, is still fighting critically. And again, the AP doesn't really matter here that much, but just full 50 weapon strength is a lot, especially with the timing, the melee attack buff and everything. So yeah, those Mournguls are in a little bit of trouble. They're going to get enraged and have to stand and fight there. Meanwhile, the other Black Orcs just chewing through zombies here. It looks like we're going to get some Spider Riders charging those gunner mobs there, and maybe going after Noctilus himself. We'll have to see. At the very least, they are interrupting those gunner mobs who had been firing in here to some of these archers. Been doing some good damage there. But Azag's still relatively healthy. The balance power well in the Greenskins' favor at this point. If we kind of take an overarching look, you can see a lot of the rally troops coming in here. Those summoned zombies are gone now, so the Black Orcs are free to start focusing on more high-value targets. This unit of Black Orcs is just about routed off, but they have been able to take down 4 unit models of those Night Terrors. Very impressive, all things considered. Of course, Azag has been a part of that as well, but he's going to go ahead and squeak back up in the air here, as the Black Orc support is pretty much gone at this point. That being said, there are still a lot of archers, and of course, Mournguls don't have the most armor in the world. Only 30 armor on these guys, so they will get mowed down by the Daka squad relatively efficiently. Looks like the Night Goblin Shaman in here. He actually does have poison attacks, so although you don't really want him fighting in melee, he is applying poison to those zombies, which is okay. Meanwhile, over here, the Black Orcs finally got into a position where they needed to be. Nice Vindictive Glare there. And the Black Orcs just going straight up, oh man, lumberjack style, just chopping at the wood of the Necrofex here. More arrows raining in, and that's going to be the end of Count Noctilus. You can see more lads rushing in here with their shields up and everything, but they're a little late to the party. Noctilus goes down, and that's going to hit critical army losses. You can see the rest of the units disintegrate for the Vampire Coast. And victory for the lads. So very well played to Hadris. Hope you guys enjoyed watching that one. It's a potentially tough matchup for the Greenskins, but a nice, wide, balanced build like this. Just mass infantry rush, especially with a lot of good medium-range archers. It's definitely a solid way of dealing with the Vampire Coast. And yeah, you can see just all across the board, lots and lots of kills for all the various Greenskin units. I mean, 123 kills on boys. Granted, they're fighting zombies, but still, it's reasonably cost effective. 110 on the AP Loonies, 53 here on these Black Orcs. And they started, I want to say, with a couple XP chevrons, maybe one. Picked up 1 to 2 more over the course of the battle by just crushing those Lamprey's Revenge. Did a ton of damage to the Mournguls, other high-value targets. 186 kills on these guys, and they did some damage to Noctilus. The Air Boys also doing some key work there. Spider Rider is working the Disruption in the back line quite efficiently. As for the Vampire Coast, 104 kills on Noctilus, to be expected. As for the rest of his army, the Night Terrors and the Mournguls were good, but they just kind of, they weren't they weren't able to get on the Black Orcs specifically when they needed to, and the Black Orcs as a result were able to take out some of the other high value targets and just kind of grind through what the Vampire Coast had. Would have potentially been tough, but if he had kept those Morghuls nice and tight and used them to go after the Black Orcs with support, and then also given the Lamprey's Revenge some zombie support just so that they're not taking all of the hits of those Black Orcs, could have potentially turned out a little bit better. I also am a really, really big fan of the Regiment of Renown Necrofex Colossus in this matchup. Because the burnt effect is very, very good against the low leadership of the Greenskins, and it also just deletes elite infantry with both in melee and with its ranged attack. It is pretty expensive, 2,000 points, but honestly not that much more expensive than a regular Necrofex. Fear and Terror, and again, that burnt leadership effect is very strong, and it does have huge anti-infantry armor-piercing damage in melee, actually quite a bit more melee damage than the regular Necrofex Colossus, as well as having superior combat stats as well, so it can actually sit and fight, obviously not for a long time, but at least for a minute against the Black Orcs, as it unleashes that heavy armor-piercing damage. So, yeah, if you're worried about getting infantry rushed like that, the Gallows Giant is definitely going to be a good tool in your toolkit. But let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought about that battle. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.